Hello, fiber friends. Welcome to another episode of the Knit, Knot, and Weave podcast. My name is Dorothy, and this is my little corner of the YouTube where I share my adventures with fiber. It's usually knitting and crocheting. Occasionally there is some weaving, some yarn dyeing, and spinning has now been added to my fiber repertoire. Hoping to build a community here where we can share ideas and I can get tips and tricks from you, and maybe I can share tips and tricks with you guys. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in learning about or sharing in, please grab a cup of something, grab your knitting or your crocheting, and let's get started. So welcome, friends. Today is Saturday, June 29th. Happy Tour de Fleece to those of you spinners out there that are participating. This is my first year of participation since I've only learned to spin back in February. I still consider myself a very newbie spinner. Oh, what else can I tell you? You could find me out on the interwebs. You could find me on Ravelry as Felia, and you can find me on Instagram as Knit, Knot, and Weave. I have 3 finished objects to share with you. I have 4 whips, a few acquisitions, not many, my Tour de Fleece fiber spinning plans, and hopefully some summer knit plan ideas that I'd like to get to, but I always seem to think I can do more than I can in the time allotted to me. So we will just see what we get up to. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to the crazy. So as I've said, today is Saturday, June 29th. So it is the first day of the Tour de Fleece. I hate that I say all the time. School has been out now for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 2 weeks. This will be the 3rd week. I have not done much knitting this summer yet. I took the first 2 weeks to do another round of decluttering in my home. I know all you OGs are saying, but Dorothy, you decluttered your house last summer. That was your big project. Yes, and what I'm finding is you are never actually officially done decluttering, because as the year progresses, you tend to accumulate more. Therefore, you need to get rid of more. So I have a rather small townhouse. Therefore, if I have to bring something in, I do need to bring something out to make room for the new item. So it's a hard lesson to learn, but it is a worthy lesson. So without further ado, let's move on to our finished objects. So my first finished object is a basic hat. This was started on size 6 needles, and I did an extra long 1x1 ribbing. And halfway through, I did do a purl row. I don't know if you can really see it on the monitor there, but there's a purl row here, so it helps the brim fold up nicely and creates a nice little edge at the bottom of the brim. And then I basically just did stockinette all around until I did the decreases. I don't remember the yarn for this. I have a feeling this is hops and barley yarn, but I can't find the tags. I have just a little bit left over, and I'm debating on whether I should make a pom-pom or put this in my bin of DK leftovers to do a DK blanket at some point, a DK scrappy blanket. But I'm rather pleased. I do like the coloring in this. I like the way the hat came out. So this will be another one that goes into the hat bin for the winter time. I guess I will put it on for you guys. So it's got a nice long brim, covers my ears very nicely. And I probably just ruined my curls, but oh well. I'm still getting used to the short hair. After, years of having long hair and doing certain things as a habit, they don't just go away overnight. And my next finished object are a pair of Fleece socks. They do not match. I only had one skein of this Fleece, so therefore I just knitted from both ends of the ball. So technically, if I turn my things upside down, they'll match, but this was not one of their better striped ones, as there's that big black stripe there. I usually do my socks toe up. So I started with some basic black yarn. I knit them 2 at a time. I use a 2.25 40-inch needle. I usually use the Addy, what are they called? Addy Turbo Rocket Squared, because the needles are square and they have little ridges on it. And when I'm knitting with such fine needles, that the squareness and those little ridges seem to help my hands grip the needles a little better. And I went until I ran out of yarn in the Fleece, and then I did a 2x2 cuff for approximately 15 rows. And then I cut in and I did the umbrella heel by Kate Jones. I like this heel a lot. I feel like it really makes a nice sort of cup for your heel to fit in, and I just find that for me, it fits really nicely. But these are not for me. These are for my friend, and she will probably be getting them later on this week. And then my last finished object are my Cozy Knitter 24 stripe Advent socks. Yes, it took me until now to finish them. But those are all 24 stripes. They're both finished. Again, I do start my socks toe up. I usually do a rounded toe. At some point, I think I do want to try the, what's it called? The atomically, I think it's called the atomically correct toe, or the atomic, I'm not saying that word right. It's the one where on one foot it slants more one way, and then on the other foot it would slant the other way according to the way your toes slant. So one of these days I'll try that. But again, I used the mini that came with the set, and I started down here 2x2 rounded toes on 2.25 millimeter needles, which is a US 1. I increase up to 64 stitches, and then I do a couple of rounds in the white before I go into the coloring, and then all the way up until I do a 2x2 ribbing at the top for about 15 rows. And then I always use Jenny's stretchy bind off, so I get a nice stretch at the top. And then again, I did a cut in heel, and again I used Kay Jones's umbrella heel, because like I said, I really like this heel. And that is all I have for finished objects. That's it. Cleaning house takes time. So up next, I will share my works in progresses. Let me see, 1, 2, I think 2 of them are new and 2 I shared last episode. So I will show you where I am on the 2 that I shared last time. So first up, I have the emotional support chicken. This time I did the crocheted version. So I have all the pieces done and almost all of it connected. This is the little gobbly thing. I never remember what it's called. That's going to be sewn up here once I have it ready. And then this is the bottom flap that will close up the chicken once it gets stuffed. So this should be finished by the next podcast. So I gave her pink eyes. And these things are not very easy to snap in. I saw, I think it was Tony from TL Yarn Crafts. TL Yarn Craft. She had found some sort of a tool that somebody had made with a 3D printer that was almost like a clamp, a crimping clamp style thing that really was, she liked it to put in safety eyes. She said it was quick, it was easy. I went to go purchase one, but they were all sold out. But I guess it was like an independent person who had come up with the design and was selling it. So this will be my second emotional support chicken. I've not named her yet. If you can think of a good name. I don't know why I'm calling it a her, but I guess because chickens are all hers. If you can come up with a good name, you can put it in the comment box below. This was a fun pattern. It was just as easy as the knitted version. I did purchase their crochet version on Ravelry. So there you go. It's designed by the same people who created the first emotional support chicken, the knitted one. And so I may wind up, I will have this finished by my next episode. Okay, so my second WIP is the Scrappy Granny Tee. It's by Hooked Hazel. She obviously used scrappy fingering weight. I am using a cotton yarn. The yarn I am using is Stitch Studio by Nicole. It was purchased from AC Moore before they went out of business. This is a fingering weight. It's 100% cotton, and it has 1,093 yards in a cake. Couldn't think of what it was called there for a minute. And here we have it. You could see from this progress keeper where I was last time I podcasted and how much I've gotten done. I am approximately, I think, 1 or 2 rows before I split for the sleeves. I am using a size G 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. For those of you that are either new to crochet or don't crochet at all, or are thinking of learning to crochet, please be aware that some US crochet hooks are 2 different millimeter sizes. So if a pattern calls for like a G, I know a G can either be a 4 millimeter or a 4.25 millimeter, depending upon which company you get your crochet hooks from. Always check to see what the millimeter is on the pattern and try to find the crochet hook that matches the millimeter, not just the US letter sizing. I don't know what I'm saying. So I did cast on for the wider neckline because this is all pretty much the granny stitch, which means it's very holey. And I will be wearing a tank top under it. And so I thought with a tank top, even if it does tend to move around or slide off my shoulder, I will still have the tank top underneath it. I am enjoying this. I may attempt to crochet another one in some leftover sock yarns, in which case I probably will do the narrower neckline, just because with superwash yarns and the yarns being wool, it'll probably be a little warmer and I could wear it in the winter time, or at least in the fall, of course, with a tank top underneath, but I wouldn't want it falling off my shoulder in the cooler weathers. But I am very much enjoying this so far. It took me a minute to get used to the way this pattern was written for crochet, because the increased rows are very different every row. She gives you a final count at the end of the row, but those final counts are not for the actual number of stitches. It's actually the number of 3 double crochet clusters. So that took me a minute to figure out, and I can't tell you how many times I restarted this because I thought I was counting wrong. And then I do have a second skein just in case. And since it gradiates out from the purple to the blue, if I have to dip into this skein, I will probably pick up and start with the blue and work my way back in. But so far I am enjoying the yarn, and I'm enjoying crocheting this garment. The yarn is, although it's 100% cotton, it's a single strand. It's not one of those crochet cottons that's like 3 or 4 like thread, so they're twisted together. And hopefully this will be done by the next podcast, but we shall see. And actually, before I put this away, let me move up that stitch marker, or I should say progress keeper, which just happens to be the little Ouija board planchette. There we go. Did I close that properly? Yes. So again, that is the Scrappy Granny Tee by Hooked Hazel. Okay, next up is a new project. It's a Jessie May. It's the Outline Tee by Jessie May. This pattern is a bottom-up pattern. Not my favorite way to do sweaters, but I really wanted to try this out. I am using, it's called Go Handmade Tencel Bamboo Yarn, and I purchased it from Hobbii, the Hobbii website. And this is 40% Tencel, 60% bamboo. It requires 2.5 to 3 millimeter needles, so it's distinguished as a fingering weight yarn. I would say it's probably a light fingering weight. When I did my swatch, I did need to go down a needle size. So I am currently on a 3.5 millimeter needle. These are on my signature needles. and I have this much done. This has really been consuming most of my time. I don't know why, but I was determined to have, and why black, I don't know. But I wanted a lightweight black top with the flow of the bamboo and the tencel. I thought this would be a nice flowy top. It would be cool for the summer. The ribbing at the bottom was done on a 3mm needle. So here's the ribbing, and then the rest was all stockinette. I'm making it a little bit longer because I don't want it as cropped. I don't want it as cropped as the pattern calls for. So I'm adding approximately, I think, 4 inches. So I am almost, I have to measure it, but I think I am almost at the point where I will be separating for the sleeves. I did read on Ravelry some reviews of this yarn. A couple of people said it was very splitty for them. I only found that to be true on the when I was knitting up the cast-on row. That was the only problem I was having, splitting issues. This is, excuse me, this is the first time I am knitting with a totally bamboo tencel yarn, and so I was a little unsure of how I would add, oops, piece of my hair, how I would add in a new skein. I heard some people said they overlapped. I saw a couple of people, I think they wrote that they did like a magic knot on it, and I really didn't want knots because although I went down a needle size, it's still somewhat of a see-through-y style garment. So I didn't want any knots in it. So what I did, you could see right there, you see how that little section is just a little bit darker than the rest. I basically did a Russian join where I overlapped the 2 skeins. I did not attempt to weave them in like a traditional Russian join. I just overlapped the yarns and knitted around them. And that seems to be holding. I haven't decided. I guess I'll probably see what happens after the first couple of times I wear it, whether I'm going to chop off, whether I'm going to snip the ends that are loose on the inside or not. I may just, if they don't bother me, I may just leave them because I certainly wouldn't want them to worm their way out. But I am enjoying it. This is pretty much a quick, this has been a quick knit. This has been my TV knitting for the summer in the evenings because I'm just going around, going around stockinette. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this one turns out, since like I said, I've never knit with a fully tencel yarn before. I have woven with one and it weaves up beautifully. I have a beautiful teal scarf that I made when I took my first floor loom weaving class. I should probably pull that out and share that with you guys. Maybe on my next episode when I share, hopefully this will be finished. I'm not making any promises though, because I still have some things I need to get done around my house. Tour de Fleece has started today, so I am hoping to be spinning every day. And hopefully that will improve my spinning by spinning every day. So we will see. And then my other new cast on isn't really a cast on because it's already been casted off, because you don't really cast it on, cast it off. I know, I'm not making any sense. The beginning of June, June 8th is my birthday. It was also the podiversary for this podcast. And June 9th is my older sister's birthday. So 54 years ago, I was her birthday gift. Not that she appreciated it at the age of 6, but whatever. So she has, not that she's been hounding me, but she did ask me a number of years ago, when she learned that I was weaving, if she could, how did she phrase it? Oh, she could commission me to make her a set of hand towels, dish towels for her kitchen, but she wanted to wait until she renovated her kitchen. Well, needless to say, she has not renovated her kitchen yet, so I went ahead and I warped up my loom. Dressed my loom is actually what you do with a floor loom. And unfortunately, I did not think to take pictures of the process this time, and I should have, because warping up the loom for a floor loom and dressing a floor loom takes a lot of time. And so anyhow, I warped it up in hopes to get about 4 towels out of it. I got about 3.5. One was already given to my sister because it was packed up. I shouldn't say it was packed up. It was packaged with the rest of her birthday gifts that I was giving her. And she is getting one more, but I have to finish sewing it. But here it is. So what I did was I warped up, as you could see here, with a whole bunch of different blues and tans. My sister is very much a beach girl. And then for the life of me, I cannot remember. You can see right there I made a boo-boo. I am still rather new to floor looms as well. But you can see right there, where is it? Right there, how that one line sticks out. That's because I didn't treadle in the right place. But this one will be her second one. And then I saved one for myself, which I used a black thread to go back and forth with. And I tried out a different treadle pattern. And again, you could see right there that dark black line going through. I screwed up the treadling. And then at the end, I didn't have enough to make a full towel. So this will, I'll probably sew this up and give it to my sister as a little hand towel. But I used the leftovers from all the weft yarns. And again, I attempted a different treadling pattern. And that's all I got, was that little section there before I had to cut it off because I couldn't go any further. So hopefully by the next podcast, these will all be finished up, cut up, hemmed, and given a second wash. And then I can share them officially as completed dish towels. So normally on a floor loom, if you have the capacity, you usually want to try and make a warp that's going to get you, I would say you would try, depending upon, I guess, maybe the size of your loom. I have a floor loom that is 26 inches wide. Is it the baby wolf or the wolf pup? I always forget. One is 22, one is 26. And I have the 26-inch width. I think it's the wolf pup. I can't remember now. But usually when you warp up, you want to try and warp up to hopefully get maybe 4 or 5 or maybe even 6. I know some people have managed to get, if you have a really big warping, now I'm losing all my weaving vocabulary. Not a warping board, but a warping wheel, I guess. A warping. Anyway, if you have a really big warping wheel, you can almost get maybe 10 or 15, the length for 10 or 15 tea towels at a time. I don't have that big. So I can usually get about maybe 4 or 5. And so hopefully these will be done by the next podcast. And then lastly is my spinning. And this one I had finished today. This was my first spin for Tour de Fleece. I had started this before Tour de Fleece though, but it was on my wheel and I had to finish it. I don't know if you're really going to see all the colors in there, but it was a gradient braid, a dark rainbow gradient braid from Friends in Fiber. I think that's who it was. Friends in Fiber. It's an Etsy shop. It was a BFL braid, and it went, you know, your basic Roy G. Biv. But this one has a little bit of black, and I have a feeling that it was black silk or black noise silk that's in there, because there were a few times where it got a little difficult to draft, and I think because there was some silk content in it. I'd have to go back and look at this description more, because if you just look at the packaging, it just said it was BFL. So now that I have this, I'm trying to decide if I want to 3-ply this and keep the gradient, or spin up a braid of black BFL and then 2-ply it with the black. What are your thoughts? This was a 5-ounce braid, and I believe I have 8 ounces of black BFL in my stash, so I could do black BFL and do a 2-ply. Or I could do a 3-ply, and it would probably come out thicker, so it would probably be DK worsted weight if I did that. But anywho, that is my first official no, I can't even say that because I took a spinning class. Anywho, so this was my first completed object for Tour de Fleece, I guess I can say. And that is it for finished objects and for whips. So my plans, I guess we will move forward to my plans for Tour de Fleece. So I did join a team. I am taking the Color Alchemy class with Alana Wilcox. She is also an amazing spinner as well as dyer, and she is leading a team in her Facebook page, and she's called it Team 80%. It's Tour de Fleece 2024. We leave no crafter behind. And so I went ahead and purchased the book with her AI graphic on it, and I decided this is going to be my Tour de Fleece note-taking book. I'm not quite sure what all needs to go in here, but I'm sure I could figure out what things need to be written down, and if not, I can always ask in the Facebook group, what do other people use? What do other people document when they are spinning? I also went ahead and bought the t-shirt. I was going to wear it today since today was the beginning of the Tour de Fleece, but I decided to wear my witch shirt. In a world full of princesses, be a witch. I love this shirt. And so now I guess I will share just a few things that I am thinking of spinning up during Tour de Fleece. So first up, I ordered a sample package, not a breed sampler package, but a sample package from Hanwi Wool from New Zealand. I heard about them through Tammy. She has a podcast called Cinematic Skeins. You can also follow her on Instagram as Cinematic Skeins. And I bought a sampler package of their 100% Hanwi wool, and it goes from a dark to a light. So I was thinking these are all 50 grams, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because a couple they sent me, they were all out of the plain Hanwi wool, and they sent me Hanwi wool with mulberry silk. And although I had bought that sample package as well, I didn't want to mix the two. So I'm probably going to spin these up, and I'm thinking I'm going to go in color order, like light to dark. And then I may 3-ply this, or if I have the same, I have to check. I don't know why I didn't even think to check. If I have the same amount of grams in their Hanwi wool and mulberry silk, maybe I'll spin up one bobbin with all the Hanwi, and I'll spin up another bobbin with all the Hanwi and silk, and then 2-ply them together. And I may do the same, spin them in color order from lightest to darkest, and then spin them together that way. And that would probably make a really cool gradient that I could probably knit into probably a shawl. That'd be pretty. So that's one that I'm thinking of. Then I have this huge package of 8 ounces of BFL that I bought from Maryland Sheep and Wool. It's got basically 2 different colors in here, which I didn't realize until I got home and was looking through it. And it's still smelling very vinegary. So there's these purple and blues. And then there's this lighter one of like pinks and purples. So I'm going to weigh them out, and if they're both about 4 ounces each, I'll probably spin up a bobbin of this and a bobbin of the other half, and then 2-ply them together. Then I'd like to give a try to the bat that I made with Kirsten from JK Fiber Arts. She helped me create this bat, which I'm still working on getting that video together to share with you guys, but I was so excited about drum carding and learning and doing this that I totally forgot to introduce Kirsten on that video. Until I can get that portion recorded, I'm not going to post that video yet. Then I have the bat that I bought from Kirsten. She calls it the Radiant Autumn Bat, which is a Merino Angelina. It's another 5 ounce. So that would be fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful red. And then I have some of the fiber that I bought from my friend Patrick, who is the one that I cursed for getting me into spinning, since he was selling his fiber so graciously to his friends at a very low cost. I have 2 skeins of fiber optic fibers. I don't think they do fibers anymore, but they're both BFLs. And sorry for the crinkling, but it's the only way I can think to show you guys this color. It's like a beautiful bluey purple. Oh, that's perfect. thought this would be a lot of fun to spin up. And so I have 8 ounces of this. So this might be spun up into a 2-ply, or I might ply it with one of the others just to see what effect it'll give. Sorry, the crinkling. And then, if I'm really gonna step outside my comfort zone and try something new, I have this braid that I purchased from Yarn Hero during the Alpaca Fiber Festival. It is a braid. The colorway is called Abyss. It is 50% Corriedale wool, 25% bamboo, and 25% cotton. Isn't that pretty? I'm assuming that white silky stuff is the bamboo. So we shall see. I also have some natural braids that I had purchased that I am thinking of possibly dyeing up to practice up some dyeing on fiber. I'm also taking Alana's Color Alchemy class, so I might try and dye up some unique fibers or unique colors on the fiber as well, but that's not until later in the course, so I may not be doing that for this. Well, we'll see, who knows. And then 2 other acquisitions that I have, which were really birthday gifts from a friend. One is this little, like toolkit, not toolkit, but notions pouch with a little kitty cat base on it that my friend Ellen gave me, along with, woohoo, the Monster Doodle Pack. Can't wait to try these out. And if you haven't heard of the doodle packs, it's basically a knit your own adventure. Each card has a different colorwork pattern on it, so you can create your own monster cowl. And they have to, like, here's potion bottles, crossbones, ghosts, aliens, and they're put out, they're put out by the, who does this? Oh, Pacific Knit Co. They have a whole bunch of different patterns. There's a Rhinebeck set. There's a whole bunch of different sets, so you could check them out on their website, Pacific Knits. So I'm looking forward to that. And I guess lastly, we'll go on to summer plans. So next up, I will share with you my summer knitting plan. Once again, I'm probably going to share more than I could possibly knit because I will be going back to work sometime in mid-August, but between now and mid-August, I do still have 10 days that I have to work over the summer for my position in the school. And with Tour de Fleece being, what is it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? We'll see how much crafting time I'll have aside from that. But there are a few different tops that I have found that I might like to try and make this summer. So one is the Tulsa Tank by Creabea, or Rebecca Clow, part of the Creabea podcast. So she has this one. This is the tank style, which I think is really fun. And then she has this one. So this pattern actually has 3 different patterns in it. So then she has a V-neck tank, which I really like that one too. And then there's this style. But I'm leaning more towards, I guess that's probably the same. No, it's a little bit, I'm leaning more towards this style and the V-neck because they have wider shoulder straps. So I feel like it'll hide my bra straps, because this woman don't go out without no bra on, unfortunately. Next up is a pattern that I found last year, but I never did get to it, but I do want to make it this summer. It's called Applesauce by Noriko Ho. And I just thought it was so cute. So you utilize 2 different colors, and you can see it crosses over. And then what's neat is the back is basically pinstripe with the 2 colors that you used in the front. Now you can make it as a tank like that, or there is a version that has little cap sleeves on it. I'm probably going to make that version with the cap sleeves because I think it's very cute. And that was a $10 pattern, I'm sorry. And the Tulsa Tee is a $9.25 pattern. Next up, this one is really pretty. I really, really like this one. It's called the Love Letter Top by Veronica Lindberg. The pattern is $6.60. And it is stunning. Is that not gorgeous? I think that would be so pretty in a white or a cream. Something that I could wear in the wintertime underneath a cardigan. And as some of you old timers know, I never know if it's going to be hot or cold in my media center or in my office. So if I have a pretty tank top on like this, I could still take off the cardigan. The only thing, there's only one piece here that I think I might take out, and that is the bobbles that appear to go right across the nipple line. I don't think we need any accent bobbles sticking out in that area. At least not for me. But the rest of it, all those different patterns, this, I really want to make this. Look at those patterns. Aren't they pretty? Of course not. So the only thing I'm worried about is this is made in a worsted weight wool. I'm sorry, a worsted weight yarn. So it is made with Sanisgarn Lena, or Line, which is a cotton rayon linen. And then look at the back. The patterning is on the back as well. Isn't that beautiful? Again, I don't think I would do the bobbles across there. I have a feeling that would bother me if I was leaning back or sitting back in a chair. But if I take them off the front, I would have to take them off the back, just because I don't think it would look right. But that is one I would definitely want to try. And I would have to, unfortunately, buy yarn for that one because I don't have, I'm pretty sure I don't have a worsted weight summer. What am I trying to say? I don't have a worsted weight summer yarn in my collection. So, and then another one I want to make is the Anchor Tee by Petite Knits. It is a $6.75 pattern. And this one uses fingering weight. And I am at that stage in menopause where I think fingering weight and short sleeves is much better for me. Will I get to all these? I have no idea. Here's a really pretty one, and this is a free knitting pattern. It's a beautiful tank top. Look at that stitch. Isn't that pretty? And then you can go here. It's a V-neck in the front and the back. So pretty. And this is called Beija Flor by Felipe, I'm going to butcher this name, Felipa Carniero. Not sure. And then I do have a few crochet patterns that I'd like to give it a try. And this one is really pretty. Here's another one. It's a free one. It's called Olympia by Agnieszka Redush. Not quite sure. I thought that was pretty. What's neat about this, what's neat about this one is you can put it together so that you could wear it horizontally or vertically. Now, I don't think it's interchangeable because of the armholes, but I think that's really neat. I would almost probably make two, one for each style. And it's a free pattern. It's a free pattern that has 7 projects made. Let's see, when did it come out? Came out last July. So I think that's very pretty. And then here's another cute one. It's a very simple crochet sagebrush tank top by Grace for the Thrills. Looks like it's knit. I'm sorry, looks like it's crocheted this way. So this looks like it would be a very easy and quick crochet. And again, this pattern is free. It's up on her website. Here's another cute one. This is a $6.50 pattern. It's the Endless Summer Take. It's designs by K-E-Y. It's a rather pretty crocheted summer top as well. Trying to get the glare out. So do I have enough time in my life to make all of these? I don't know. If I could finish my house and I could spin every morning for 15 minutes and have the rest of the day to just sit around and knit, which is no good for my legs or my heart or my health. We all know, stationary is like the world's silent killer. That's probably not all going to happen this summer. Not to mention, I still have my, now I can't even think of the other cardigan because we're so used to calling it the Beast in my knitting group. But I have my other cardigan to finish. I have my dad's sweater to finish, which again, I don't think will get done over the summer because knitting with wool gets very hot in the summer. And I have a little fan. I have this little tiny fan that I have to turn on sometimes and just direct it towards my hands because my hands have a tendency to sweat. What else? I would like to try and get another set of dish towels on my loom, but I don't know if my craft room is going to be ready for that. But I could probably get a set of dish towels warped up on my rigid heddle and do probably a set on my rigid heddle loom for my niece. My niece and her partner just bought Well, they didn't just buy, but they've been there for a little while now. They bought a house and their kitchen is pretty much navy blue and white. So I was thinking of making them a set of dish towels in navy blue and white, maybe in like a pinwheel or a houndstooth pattern. Maybe just pretty stripes. I think that would be cool too. So, what are your plans for the summer? Are any of you guys participating in Tour de Fleece? Let me know. If you're new to spinning, let me know. I'm always looking for new spinners to talk with and figure things out with, because most of the spinners in my group have been doing it for a while. And I had been going to my local yarn shop called Clover Hill over in Catonsville. They have a spinning night once a month. During the school year, it has been on a Friday night, but for the summer, they've decided to combine knit night and spinning night to be one night, and it's Saturdays now. So I've been going to that. It's Saturdays from 6 to 9, and it's a nice group of folks that are doing it. So I've been enjoying that. I'm participating in Tour de Fleece this year. Well, so we'll see how much I actually get done spinning. And during then, I have this whole week to myself. July 8th, I'll have to go in and do one summer day. And then, is it the following week? I think the following week I'm doing 2 or 3 of my summer days. And then I'll be off again until I think it's the 3rd week of August. Or the 2nd full week. Somewhere around the 15th or 16th, I'll be going back pretty much every day. That week will be 5 of my 10 summer days. And then the following week, all teachers will come back. And then the following week, students will be back. So I feel like my summer is going to fly by with all these plans that I have. I can't think of anything else to share with you guys. Well, on that note, if you have enjoyed this episode, if you've taken anything away from it, please, by all means, give it a thumbs up, give it a like and a share with your friends. Go ahead and leave me a comment. I do so love to read your comments, and it really does help the algorithm out and help recommend my channel to other folks. So please do that. I would appreciate it. I am looking forward to doing all this spinning within the next couple of weeks and see what happens. Let's see. The rest of the summer I will be doing some reading and some sample dyeing for my class with Alana Wilcox. And then in September, which I didn't realize, I should have taken her spring course so that I could have done all the reading and completed all the reading and the prep stuff at the end of the school year, and then had the whole beginning of this summer to do all the dyeing steps. But I did it a little backwards. So I've got all the summer to do all the reading, and I'm probably going to jump ahead to some of the other assignments, the actual dyeing processes and finaglings to figure out the color work and stuff. And so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I think that is all I have to share with you guys. And so on that note, I wish you all the very best. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy crafting in whatever you do. Ciao, ciao. Love you guys.